The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and it is Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for the toy news, action figure news of the week that interested me, that hopefully interests you guys out there, and talk about a busy week. Busy week in toy news. I got 2 pages of notes here. There's a lot to cover, and it was a busy week for me as well, as I had a work trip down to Texas. Absolutely beautiful this time of year. Check out my toy hunt video this week. As you can see, the whole Texas tour, a lot of cool spots, a lot of things in that video, so check that out. But was down in Texas. You'll see a lot of that in weekly purchases, of course, Sunday here on the channel. Whatever you do, make sure you subscribe at the end of the day. But like I said, we got 2 full pages of notes here to get into. Let's get into it. But first, let's plug the old Patreon. Of course, February Patreon giveaway. John Cena, brand new Mario Brothers Top Picks Elite here. Last chance to get in on this giveaway. Of course, Patreon exclusive giveaway. We'll have another giveaway for March as well. And March is going to be the anniversary of the channel. So I got to do some kind of a giveaway for everybody in March as well for that. So more to come on that. We'll see where we go. Would be great to get 30,000 subscribers by the end of March. I don't know if that would be in the cards, but we'll work for it. We'll work towards a goal, see if we can make it. So there you go. But let's dive into the toy news this week, and there is so much to talk about, like I said. And let's start it off with wrestling figure news first. And let's talk a little bit of that Jesse Ventura Power Town conspiracy.
You ever wonder if they're watching your every move? Cell phones, internet, surveillance. Think about it.
As got to give a shout out to the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast. If you guys listened to their podcast this week, of course, they did talk a little bit about the old Jesse Ventura conspiracy video we did on the channel a couple of weeks ago about the Power Town conspiracy. Because I don't know if you guys noticed or not, they did reopen orders for Series 1 Power Town for the 3rd time. Very interesting go-to-market strategy there. I talk about it all the time in my toy news videos, figure videos, things like that. I hate pre-ordering places that take your money up front. That's why I like to go to the Entertainment Earths of the world, the Big Bad Toy Stores of the world, because they charge you when they ship. I don't want people gaining interest and sitting on my money, and that's what Power Town did for those of us that got in on the original pre-order. And now they've had another one said, oh, you know, once this pre-order's done, it's gone forever. Well, then they opened it up again. Now they've opened it up again. And go back, rehash that Jesse Ventura video. You can find the thumbnail with me and Jesse. I give all of my conspiracy theory points, but Matt Cardona did watch the video. He talked about it in there. I think Brian and Mark were a little bit like, what? But they had not seen the video. It wasn't like I'm saying this is 100% true, that kind of conspiracy theory, as you guys know that saw the video. I'm just asking the questions that really haven't been answered about the whole thing. And there's just a little bit more than meets the eye, like a young Transformers, I think, to that one. Is how did they get these new figures made so quickly? And the smoking gun truly is, what about all these defective figures? The whole first run is all defective. Where do those go? If we never see those defective figures, we never hear about those again, did they even really exist? That's the deep question. Gonna have to hit up old Jesse Ventura about that. He has the answers. I know he does. So I can look up old Jesse Ventura there. But I truly believe, honestly, I don't know anything. I don't have any insider knowledge, anything like that is. My guess is they keep reopening all these pre-orders because, let's take that business step back, I think the orders are a lot smaller than they anticipated. I want all these figures. A lot of you guys want all these figures. But does the average Joe in this political climate, whatever you want to call it, financial climate we're in, where inflation is up, everybody's wanting every dollar out of your wallet, how many people are diving in for a Stan Hansen, a Kerry Von Erich, a Vern Gagne, and a Lou Thez? Something tells me not as many people as we hope there would be. You and I'm talking to you, yes, you right there, we're maniacs. We want all this stuff. We want this. But how many people want a Vern Gagne in their collection? How many people in this day and age respect Vern Gagne and know about Vern Gagne? I do, but you ask somebody 10, 15 years younger than me, do they care about Vern Gagne at all? Is there any 20-year-olds watching this video that care about Vern Gagne? They should care about Vern Gagne, but I can see, hey, I want AJ Styles, I want Edge, those are my classic guys, and they are classic guys after all, but I think that is what it is. At the end of the day, you follow the dollar, they open up the pre-order again. There's no such thing as bad publicity. They got all this publicity around the major pod group, the breaking of the figures, things like that. Now they look like a very fan-friendly company. They're opening it up for people that missed it before. The word's back out there. Now they can get more pre-orders in the system and hopefully meet the demands they're wanting, because these figures, they're going to go up in price if the demand's not there, or they might just fold their tent and say, hey, this wasn't a viable business, because at the end of the day, this stuff is all a business. So don't want to get too deep down the rabbit hole with that, but check out the Major Pod. Thanks for the plug there. Check out the video on that, and hopefully get your Power Town order if you are interested. So there you go. Moving on from there, Ringside Collectibles, great friends of the channel. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. Shipping AJ Styles and the Razor Ramon Ultimate Editions. I believe they're coming to me tomorrow, so I'll probably unbox them this week. I will have a mint on card set coming as well, but more on that later. But those are shipping, and a lot of people have those in hand already, so very, very excited to get Razor and AJ in the Ultimate line. Can't wait to check those out. And speaking of reopening of pre-orders, Zombie Sailor Toys did the exact same thing. I am not a big fan of that, and I can see a lot of people saying, well, I didn't have money for the first run, things like that. I totally get that. I totally understand. Maybe you miss a pre-order window because you don't have the finances for it. It's great for those people, but we all got to admit, the people that jump in on the first round of pre-orders, those are the hardcore fan base. Those are your hardcores of the hardcores. I'm sure there's a lot of people that jumped in and put those on their credit card, for instance. They wanted to be a part of it, and they said, this is the pre-order. Well, it slaps those people in the face that we opened up the pre-order again, 4 months later, if you want these. Yes, it's a limited pre-order window. I get that kind of stuff. But it is a little bit tough for that fan base because, once again, hey, money's hard to come by right now. Inflation's there. You just sat on my money for 4 or 5 months, longer actually, until we get the figures. But you sat on that. I could have jumped in this pre-order now. So I can understand frustrations of collectors out there. I'm definitely frustrated. As much, I just don't like people sitting on my money, like I always say. I mean, I want to sit on my own money and gain my own interest. And we all should really think that way. I think. I guess I'm not going to tell anybody how to think, but at the end of the day, you'd rather have your money work for you instead of another company. I think that's pretty fair. But it is open back up, so if you guys missed out, you got another chance. And I think, as we've seen with some of these Zombie Sailors, the Pro Wrestling Tees have gotten these. He's had extra stock. I think that's the way it's going to go in the future. And he, of course, is working towards having figures just, you order them and they're shipping right away. And that's going to be a game changer for Zombie Sailor, I do think. I think that is a very smart business plan on his part. But we're not done with Zombie Sailor here. Of course, One Man Gang is going to lead the charge for Series 3. He showed the pictures here. One of the most underrated talents in wrestling history. Yes, I said it. One Man Gang, Akeem, George Gray, whatever you want to call him. One of the biggest big men in wrestling history. A lot of people think he's a real big guy, but he is a tall guy too. He's like 6'8". He is a true giant. Super, super nice guy as well. One of the unsung heroes of wrestling. I don't know if he gets the due he really does deserve. One Man Gang, Akeem, he should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. What are we doing here? So great to get a One Man Gang figure. I hope that leads to maybe in the elite style figures to get a One Man Gang. I would have to think that will be the case with Zombie Sailor. So more to come on that. But that's a day one order on a One Man Gang. Very excited for that one. Zombie Sailor continues to put out great product. There is no denying that. I know some people argue about his business practices a little bit, but at the end of the day, when the product comes, it is top-notch product. It really, really is. Speaking of hopefully more top-notch product, one I'm very excited about, the pre-order window is closing soon on the Asylum Toys figures. Of course, Vicious and Delicious, Earl Hebner, and the Road Warriors. You know I'm excited about that. Get your pre-orders in or forever hold your peace unless they reopen the pre-orders, which we've seen other companies do. We just talked about it, but those are coming as well. We also heard a little bit of a leak, I guess changing tunes a little bit. There wasn't a leak out there for Elite 104. Of course, this hasn't been confirmed by Mattel, so you got to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, but sometimes these things do check out. But it looks like Elite 104 is going to be Solo Sequoia, of course, from the Bloodline. Everybody wants that one. That's going to be a big one. AJ Styles, Dakota Kai getting another figure, an updated one, of course, all over TV right now as a tag team champion. Drew McIntyre, a guy we've had a lot of figures of over the years. Braun Breaker getting his first Elite figure, which should be really cool. And, of course, he is getting the Chase in this line, so we'll see what that looks like. And then the rumor is Rick Steiner, and the picture shown is the old Michigan Gear Rick Steiner. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Very cool to get a father and son in the same wave if this is true. We knew we were getting Rick Steiner. We talked about this months ago on the channel when Mattel officially announced Steiner Brothers have been signed to a Legends deal. We're looking at Elite 104. When is that going to hit retail? And when I say retail, I'm not talking about Ringside. We know Ringside gets things in 2 to 3 months ahead of retail sometimes. So we're looking at 104. I wouldn't be shocked to see 104 at traditional Walmart's, Targets later in the year, much later in the year. But they did speed Rick Steiner to market here. I wonder if they kind of knew a little something, got working on some things ahead of time. Very possibly could have been the case there, but very interesting Elite 104. I'm very excited for Elite 102. It feels like we've had a little bit of a gap. I don't know. When did we unbox Elite 101? A month ago? We should see 102, I would think, in the next couple of weeks, or at least images on card, and that'll say, hey, about a week after that, we'll get them in hand. So more to come on the Elite line, as always, here on the channel. And we go back to some retros. The KWK action figure line, we've talked about them with the Conquistadors. We've talked about them with Haystacks Calhoun. Now we're going to talk about Manitar. So another new gen, kind of really wrestle crap gimmick, I guess you could say at the end of the day. We're getting him in figure form. I believe this will be his first figure ever. Actually, this guy still wrestles around the independent scenes in my area. He has been around over the last few years. I guess pre-COVID is when I last saw him. But he is from the Midwest, and he still does wrestle on local indie shows. So very cool. Another deep cut character. It'll be interesting to see how well he sells. Obviously, not a lot of people think of Manitar a lot, but it sounds like he's going to have the big old helmet going on, the big buffalo head, whatever you want to call it. You guys know me, I love a hairy bipedal creature, so I really like the looks of what we've seen with these figures so far. Can't wait to see where this one goes. They also showed a little scale picture here to kind of show against the original Hasbro how they're going to scale. Thought that picture looked really good. That was something that needed to be shown. So they're playing all the hits. They keep getting their name out there. A lot of these retro lines, it gets annoying. I know the artwork. We've talked about that. The Major Pod talks about it even more than I do. But it's a way to get your name out there. They're not Mattel. They're not Hasbro. They don't have all the funding. They got to get their name out there consistently. That's how they're going to do that there. We also saw from Figure Collections this week. Very interesting. Speaking of retro Bone Cruncher type figures, we did see they're announcing an Atom Bomb and a Blue Meanie variant. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this Bone Cruncher line goes. 4 years ago, let's call it, Bone Crunchers were all the rage once again. I keep telling about the Major Figure Podcast. They were really promoting Bone Crunchers pretty hard on that channel a few years back. So I don't know if the Bone Cruncher love is still there, if these are going to sell exceptionally well. I did pre-order the regular ones. I'm on the fence about the variants. Part of me wants to get all these. I'm really excited about the Ultimo Dragon Sonny Ono ones in the future. We'll just see how that goes, but I feel like we're about the year time frame. Then we pre-ordered these guys. We also got a Macho Man Bone Cruncher. When's that one coming? That'll be an interesting one too. So Figure Collections got some stuff going on. And another guy that's got some things going on is the old Hustle Man, old Hassel Toys. The pre-order for Tony Norris, or as we know him, Ahmed Johnson, is live. Head over to Hassel Toys, follow him on Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Got to get in on the pre-order from Ahmed Johnson. I got to be honest, we showed that picture a couple weeks ago. I was blown away how good that Ahmed Johnson figure looked. I am very excited for that one. I'm going to get my pre-order in for sure on that. So Ahmed Johnson coming to that line. Got to think we'll see more Ahmeds in the future in other toy lines too. I think that is going to happen. We'll see what happens there. Chilla Toys, we've talked about them forever. They are officially done, as of course we knew Wrestling Trader took them over. It gets a little confusing, especially if you only kind of have your toe dabbled in this, but it was Chilla Toys. Wrestling Trader bought them, so it was going to be Wrestling Trader. Now they've decided they're not going to be called Wrestling Trader for the toy line. It's going to be called Epic Toys. So a lot of confusion. It's just a very confusing whole situation there. No matter how it breaks down, no matter what name it is, I hope we just get figures on a regular basis. Let's just get the figures out there. So more to come on that sooner rather than later. So now we move on to some other news outside of wrestling. A lot of retro news. I think that's kind of a cycle we're going to be in for a while, at least up to WrestleMania Access, where we're going to have a ton more wrestling news. But how about a little Transformers? They finally announced Snarl, the Dinobot, of course the Hasbro Studio 86 line, whatever you want to call it there. They also announced Shattered Glass Grimlock. I love me some Dinobots. Happy to complete this Dinobot team here. We don't talk a lot of Transformers, but I do dabble, as you guys know. We just don't do it on the channel, that's for sure. But very excited to get Snarl in the collection. The Great Snarl Hunt should be just like the Grimlock and Sludge Hunt of yesteryear. So be on the lookout for that one sooner rather than later. Valaverse, we've done a lot of Valaverse Action Force unboxings here on the channel. The perfect companion piece to the G.I. Joe Classified. I know it's a little bit controversial. There's a lot of people that hate G.I. Joe Classified. They're all in on the Valaverse. Me, I say why not both? I'm all for both of them. Of course, the G.I. Joe is always going to have my heart. It was such a big part of my childhood. I'm always going to like that kind of stuff, and I love the G.I. Joe classified line. And I know people don't like everything, I get it, but I like the Valorverse line as well. I'm pretty much all in on that line now. I've really enjoyed all these figures. It's just very cool. Another ancillary collection off to the side. But we talked about it last week, but Valifair is coming March 3rd through 5th. Going to show the future stuff, what's coming to the line, all that kind of stuff. Should be an exciting time out there. So if you're into the Valorverse line, you're going to have a ton of news on the 3rd through the 5th, so stay tuned for that, of course. Mythic Legion's coming back, and we talked last week about the Headless Horseman re-release. Well, now they're re-releasing Father Christmas, which we also unboxed here on the channel. I'm going to have to pass on this one, just like the Headless Horseman. I like both of these. I just don't need kind of that duplication. There's not enough meat on the bone for me. I would like to have them. It's just the price points are a little bit more than I want to spend, I guess, for that. But we are getting a brown-bearded Father Christmas, so that is kind of cool there. But if you missed the first one or you're a completionist, whatever it may be, that is going up for pre-order fairly soon. So be on the lookout for that. Be ready for that one. Now we turn our attention over to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and my blood pressure's boiling a little bit. Maybe the nerves are. Maybe the turtle anxiety is back. Pick up the shirt at Pro Wrestling Tees, search Kyle Peterson. But the turtle anxiety is here, and I don't know if it's for all the right reasons, all the wrong reasons or not. But we do got some interesting turtle news this week. And I guess let's get this one out of the way here. We know there is a Turtles movie coming out this summer, a cartoon movie, and it looks like Playmates has a new toy line. This isn't going to be for me. This is for the children. It's for the kids.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
And that's exactly what this is going to be about. We got, of course, the four Turtles, Bebop, Rocksteady, Superfly, not Jimmy Snuka, not Curtis Mayfield. Looks like a Baxter Stockman type character. I guess we'll find out more in the movie. But we got Splinter as well, and Leatherhead. Leatherhead. Yeah, I'm getting my Joes and my Turtles confused. Leatherhead. So once again, a line not for me. This is really for kids. You can't dog on this. This is for the kids to play with. So it looks good for what it is. It's just not going to be for me. But we will be seeing those at retail fairly soon. But the big one is, the turtle anxiety pusher is the Target Haulathon. It's starting this yesterday, I guess, in certain stores. We're going to have a lot of things in the stores. Of course, they'll have Target online with some drops on the Fridays, I think, for like the next 4 weeks. But a ton of figures. I'm not exactly sure what NECA is doing. We've talked about this in the past. I have talked to a few different stores and just my passing by, and of course working in the industry, so I know some people. But a lot of the Target stores across the country are swimming in NECA product. You go to the NECA sections, they are very full with slow-moving items, things like that. Where they're going to find room for all this Haulathon items, I'm not exactly sure, because from a couple of the Targets by my house, one of them told me they had 15 boxes of NECA, and they have 2 different NECA sections in the store. They are not moving. They are a smaller Target. I don't know what's going to happen there. You throw all this Haulathon stuff on there, they're going to be swimming in NECA for years. So I don't know what the end game process is here. My concern is, and where my turtle anxiety is up here, is maybe NECA made less amounts of these than some of the other ones, because let's be honest, a lot of the turtle cartoon packs, it's a far cry from the COVID days. They are peg warming very hard, and this new onslaught of Haulathon items, of course, the collector's going to want them, the turtle fans, the turtle completionists. But after that, there's not a lot of crossover to these. These are some very deep cuts. A lot of these I do not remember at all. I'm going to have to study up to try to remember, get my memory loose on some of these guys and gals, of course. So it's going to be an interesting thing. I'm going to start hunting. I'm filming this on Friday. I'm going to take the wife and kids out to dinner tonight. We got to return something at Target. Of course, I'm going to check. We're going to go to dinner. There's another Target there. You guys got to play the game. I got to play the game. We're going to get to all these stores. I'm going to check out on some of this stuff, but very interesting things. But let's run down this list of Haulathon items. And the other part of the anxiety I have is the price point on these. It's about $800 for all these turtle figures. That's a lot to ask any collector. I don't care what brand you're collecting. $800 at basically a month span there, that is pretty rough, and that's a way to turn a fan base off. I can see people saying, you know what, I can't afford it, I'm going to be out, I'm out. I'm not a completionist anymore, I'm out of the game, what have you. Just a dangerous, dangerous road. And of course, you can get some of this stuff after the month. We know how that goes. You don't have to buy it all at once, but it's really tough to throw all that out at a fan base at one time. This really should almost go through the rest of the year, and who knows, maybe it will. We'll find more out at San Diego Comic-Con, I'm sure, as far as turtles go. But we're getting the Usagi Yojimbo, the Artist Series one, that is coming. We're getting the Triceratons from the Mirage comics, that is going to be there. Same thing with the Shredder clone figures, that's going to be a part of this. Another Last Ronin, the Rogue Derelict figure. I read the comic, I don't even remember this, so I don't know what I'm talking about here. We got Rex 1 as a deluxe Super Cop figure, a deluxe packaging one. We're getting Dirk Savage Mona Lisa. We're getting Tall Thug and Short Gangster as a 2-pack. Chakahachi and Lotus is coming as a 2-pack. Grunt and Jersey Red. We got to fill out our Death Wish criminals is what they always remind me of. We got those guys coming and gals. We got the Baby Turtle accessory set. 4 baby turtles and tons of deep cut accessories with those. We got Jaguar, Man Ray coming from the Archie comics. So you got those coming. And then we also got the Gremlin Spider Gremlin, the huge Spider Gremlin. That's what I'm going to have to pick up as well. And the price points on a lot of these, they're not $50 anymore. Some are $55, some are $60, some are even higher than that. So with tax and everything else, I mean, you're almost to $800 on all this stuff. That is a lot for a fan base. That is a lot. We'll see how it works out for them. Going to be interesting times, but I'm on the hunt. It's going to be hard for the wallet. I'm going to need to find a part-time job here the next couple weeks, and I don't know where I'm going to find the time. I literally have no time for anything incremental in my life, it feels like. We'll see, but Turtle Anxiety, it's a real thing, and it's here. Like I said, pick up the t-shirt, ProWrestlingTees.com. Thundercats Wave 8, how about that? A little Thundercats announcement. And Super 7 did something very smart. I gotta talk in business once again. Super 7 said, hey, we dropped Series 8. It's supposed to ship winter 2023. To me, it's gonna be at least a year from now, I'd have to imagine. But they said, you order them here today, you save 15%. That's the kind of thing. It's like, I don't like to pre-order, but I did the math. If I went to Entertainment Earth, I'm basically saving about $25 with shipping, everything else. Saving $25 over Entertainment Earth, Big Bad Toy Store, things like that. So you got to get a deal out there. You got to nickel and dime some things. I did the math on the interest, all that kind of stuff. I'm coming out ahead by like $12.80 or something like that. So I did it. I pulled the trigger. I'm going to get Series 8 through them, and I think that's a smart move by Super 7 because everybody's excited when you announce new product. Then you say you get 15% off if you pre-order just today. They did it with the glow-in-dark Slash for Pizza Day. It makes a lot of sense. I think it's a good way. And Super 7, they got a lot of figures going out there, as we know as well. And where's my G.I. Joes? Where's my G.I. Joes, Super 7? Get those there. But Thundercats Series 8, very interesting with Wily Kit, Alluro, Captain Shiner, and Hatchie Man. So a very cool wave there. I'm very excited for more Thundercats in the collection. What I'd really like to see, though, is the Thunder Tank. Sounds like if you ordered from Entertainment Earth, DJC Collectibles, Big Bad Toy Store, places like that, Thunder Tank's coming your way. If you order from Super 7, haven't got it yet, haven't got a shipping notice. I did get an email earlier this week, said if your address changed, let them know. But no Thunder Tank yet. So once I get that, I'll drive it into the review and we'll talk all things Thunder Tank. So maybe in a couple of weeks, we'll see what happens. I got to figure out where I'm going to put that thing as well. So stay tuned for that. Now we turn our attention over to Hasbro. We turn our attention over to the Marvel Legend game. A lot of Marvel Legend announcements. And of course, March 1st, sounds like they're going to have a YouTube live stream. Those are always pretty enjoyable live streams. So we'll see what's up their sleeve, what kind of figures they're going to talk about there. But they did announce a lot of things this week. Of course, Friday, classic Luke Cage. That's one that's really been a hole in a lot of collectors' collection. So we're getting that 70s greatness of Luke Cage, the Power Man, in Marvel Legends. So I'm excited about that one. I guess details to come. So stay tuned for more on that, but I'm all in on that one for sure. And then they did announce, we talked about it last week in Weekly Purchases, or no, it was in the Album of the Week of Toy News last week. We talked about Guardians of the Galaxy, the new trailer. We talked about Graham Bonnet and Since You've Been Gone. But they did officially announce the wave to support the movie. And we're getting a deluxe Groot. So we're getting a deluxe one of Groot. That kind of works. A chunkier figure, a one-off sculpt. Looks really good. I'm excited for that one. But then we're getting Mantis, Nebula, Drax, Rocket Raccoon, Star-Lord, Warlock, Kraglin, and then, of course, Cosmo is going to be the Build-A-Figure. Now, what are we doing in this wave? Now, there's a lot of people not liking this wave at all, and I understand a lot of the hate here. Now, I'm going to say the positive first about this. I love a team. I love a team uniform. We get that with the Guardians. It's going to be cool to have that team on the shelf looking good in their costumes. I'm happy about that. I like that a lot. What I don't like about this, though, is Rocket Raccoon is his own figure. It's like Howard the Duck all over again, but at least with Howard, you got a bigger Build-A-Figure part. I'm trying to justify it, and you can't even justify that. But you get Cosmo's like torso, and Cosmo is about the same size as Rocket, a little bit bigger than Rocket. It really should have been a Cosmo Rocket 2-pack. Hasbro, that's what you should have done. That's absolutely ridiculous to make Cosmo the Build-A-Figure. As cool as it will be to get a dog, I'm all here for it. I love getting Timber with Snake Eyes, things like that. But Cosmo and Rocket should have been a 2-pack at regular price. Come on, what are we doing here? And we should have got a different Build-A-Figure with this set. That's just absolutely crazy. I don't know who's going to be buying Rocket. I mean, people are going to want to complete the team and stuff, but $25 or whatever they're charging for that Rocket Raccoon, this big of plastic with this big of a Build-A-Figure piece, man, that's the what are we doing of the week here. Hasbro should be ashamed of themselves there. And I give a lot of slack to these companies about some of the pricing decisions because I have to make those in my everyday life, and I understand the pain and the hurt on some of that kind of stuff. Nobody wants to do it, but we have to, especially in my industry. It's just all trickles down. It's just the way it goes. There's no gouging going on, I can tell you that. But here, how do you not feel like gouging here with this Rocket? Rocket and Cosmo should have been a 2-pack. What are we doing of the week? There it is. It goes to Hasbro there. McFarlane Toys did a little announcement this week as well, so they got a little winter showcase February 28th to March 2nd. Tons of pre-orders, tons of announcements, things like that. And I gotta tell you, Todd McFarlane is the James Brown of the toy industry. I might be the James Brown of YouTube. He is of the toy industry. Every single day there is a new figure announcement. There's a new pre-order from all of his lines. It's absolutely amazing. I would love to spend a day with Todd McFarlane just talking business because, man, that guy, he is always hustling, but we do got that winter showcase. Very excited to see what comes of that. There should be some really good stuff, I have to think. I'm even thinking about this Titans Build-A-Figure wave. As you guys have seen in my videos, I'm buying more McFarlane than ever. They are putting out some good product that keeps a casual DC fan interested. I can't imagine if you're a hardcore DC fan having to pick all these guys up, but some really, really cool stuff coming. More to come apparently at his winter showcase, so stay tuned for that as well. And then finally, the last bit of news before we get into the album of the week. Knucklebones, we talk about the Knucklebones heavy metal statues. You guys know I love these. I would have so many more of these if I kind of had the room for these nice statues. But boy, they threw some deep cuts in this week. It'll be interesting to see if these sell at all, as they are from the Black Sabbath family, and I love Black Sabbath just as much as the next guy. Actually, probably more. Love me some Black Sabbath. But they're giving the pilot from Never Say Die, and they're giving the witch from the Black Sabbath original album. So basically the album cover characters coming to life in a statue. I love Black Sabbath as much as the next guy, but do you really want the pilot? How many hardcore fans of Black Sabbath want the pilot and the witch? I can see the witch, very famous first album. The Never Say Die pilot. A lot of people say Never Say Die and Technical Ecstasy are the worst Black Sabbath albums of all time. I wouldn't go that far. I actually have enjoyment out of both of those. Never Say Die is a banger of a Black Sabbath song, very underrated. Even Technical Ecstasy, Dirty Women, there's a lot of good songs on there. Check those out. But I just can't fathom buying each of these unless you just collect Black Sabbath stuff. If you're a hardcore Black Sabbath fan, I feel like that's who that is for. But man, some deep, deep cuts going on there from our old friends at Knucklebones. So there you go. That is the news this week. And now we move over to Album of the Week. And since I spent the week in Texas, I tell you, of all the places I've been, and I haven't been I'm not a world traveler, I don't want to be, but I enjoy Texas. I enjoy the weather, the people are very friendly. God bless Texas. A lot of good stuff out of Texas. So I always enjoy my visits down there, especially this week, getting to go to Dallas Vintage Toys, going to some restaurants I haven't been to, just a lot of shenanigans out there, including a long work day and a long flights and things like that as well. So check out that week in review, my figure hunt this week down in Texas. But I figured Album of the Week, when in Texas, you got to listen to Texas music. I went to a restaurant, I think it was called Taste of Texas, and the bill was something like $15,000. It was ridiculous. But anyways, they only played Texas artists. That kind of got me thinking. For Album of the Week this week, only Texas artists. And we're going to go Willie Nelson. Why wouldn't we go Willie Nelson? Willie, one of the all-time greats in country music, still producing, one of the most prolific performers of all time, be it touring or albums. He has well over 100 albums. My two favorite albums from Willie Nelson that are not live albums, I'm going Shotgun Willie. I'm going The Red-Headed Stranger. If you've ever wanted to dabble in some Willie Nelson, those are the two you got to start at for sure. Willie Nelson, an all-time great. I would say Waylon Jennings. He is kind of an honorary Texan, I would say. But of course, he was an Arizona boy to begin with, as we do know. But the other one here for Album of the Week, too, we got 2 or 3, I guess we'd call it here. We're going to one of my favorite bands of recent years, and really sad, of course, with this band, as most of the hardcores know. With the band Power Trip, we're going to Nightmare Logic. Of course, Riley Gale did pass away, lead singer. I was very fortunate to really get into this band very early on. Saw them numerous times in concert over the years. Very, very cool band. Power Trip, if you've never heard them, check out Nightmare Logic. Can't beat it. Not sure what's going to happen to Power Trip. It's just not going to be the same without Riley singing. So I don't know. But man, check out their album. They got a couple of albums. I think maybe 1 EP even. But you can't go wrong with some Power Trip if you're into heavy metal. That is for sure. Executioner, Swing of the Axe, of course. I love it. I love it. So check that one out. So there is Album of the Week. There is the News of the Week. Quite a loaded week. What are your guys' thoughts? Let me know in the comments. What are you picking up? What do you think? Do you agree with the What Are We Doing of the Week for Marvel Legends? Turtles could have had that What Are We Doing too with this big release schedule. So there could have been a double What Are We Doing of the Week here. But some interesting stuff, some controversial stuff, but a lot of news at the end of the week. But let me know what you do think about all the news that we talked about in this very video. Of course, you made it this far, you might as well like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the old notification bell, and for early access to videos like this and all the other content, plus Q&As, bonus videos, you can check out the Q&A live from Texas in my hotel this week. That's what we did. There's a lot going on, of course, so check it all out, and check it all out over on the old Patreon channel. Support the channel, the best way is the Patreon channel, and you can also support the channel Pro Wrestling Tees. Get your own Turtle Anxiety t-shirt. Search Kyle Peterson, and don't forget to hit me up and follow along on social media. Sir Paul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. And you know what I'm doing? I'm rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling my way to Target to hopefully find some of these Haulathon items, and I'll see you guys all real soon.